open your mic to the world so you can hear yourself and set a level and make sure it's where you want. Jamming on the one, jamming on the one, jamming on the one, jamming on the one. Hey there. Cool. Okay? Yep. The 60th season of Trans Am Series racing continues today at Watkins Glen International, the historic circuit in New York's Finger Lakes region, where they've been racing Trans Am cars since 1968. This 11-turn course is world famous and famously fast. It's a 180-mile-an-hour run for the 900-horsepower beasts about to take the green flag. And hello again, everybody, from Watkins Glen International. Thanks for joining us for the second end of our weekend doubleheader. Alan Bestwick, joined by the Pro-Am Series champion from a season ago, Jared Audrick, looking to repeat as back-to-back champion if he can this year. Jared, what's racing at Watkins Glen like?
All I think is flow. You get in the flow here, and, you know, we had a few yellow flags today, but you're always finding the flow.
Just trying to get I mean, really, there are no, Andy Lally said this earlier today, there's no hairpins here,
no.
Right? It's all speed and momentum and carry.
Correct, yeah, and that's what you look forward to coming here every time is literally that, is finding a flow. You know, there's a certain type of music I listen to coming to Watkins Glen that separates it from all the other tracks.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very nice. So let's take a look back at what happened in the opening part of our weekend doubleheader here for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli and what sets the stage for today's race. Huge thunderstorm came through the area just before the start of the race yesterday, so the teams came and began the race on wets. Matthew Brabham set a new Trans Am track record in qualifying, led from the start with his title rival Paul Menard chasing. The fight for third was great, looking at it there. Tommy Dreese and Chris Dyson, David Pintarek was in that as well, had a spin, fortunately didn't hit anything. The SGT class lead fight was great also. That was Jesse Schmidt and Chris Coffey going back and forth. Then Schmidt got tangled up with the GT of Derek Carter. And then Tommy Dreese had a pounder in turn number 6. He'll be in a backup car today. Chris Dyson tried to chase down Paul Menard for the second step on the podium, but all that was going on well behind the race leader, Matthew Brabham. Look at him pounding away through the inner loop here yesterday, topping almost 180 miles an hour going into that thing. Menard hung with that second spot to keep close in the championship, but it was all Matthew Brabham. Saturday taking his 7th win in 8 races on this season. It's a quick turnaround for the teams. They're on the grid. They're ready to go today. Let's go to the grid right now. Here's Nate Dreyer.
Thanks, Alan. Well, one thing that's a lot different from yesterday are those weather conditions. For sure, a beautiful day, a Chamber of Commerce type day here at Watkins Glen. One thing that's not any different is that battle at the front of the field. Everybody is chasing Matthew Brabham, winner yesterday and dominantly ahead in the points. We'll see if Paul Menard starting second or Chris Dyson, who's a three-time winner here at Watkins Glen, have got anything to do for him. It's wildly different conditions at a super fast, super gripped up racetrack. It's going to be one heck of a race, guys.
Thank you, Nate. The Trans Am Series by Pirelli getting ready to race at Watkins Glen International for the 52nd time. More from the grid and the green flag for today's race. Coming up next, live on Racing America.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
You can watch Trans Am racing all season long right here on Racing America.
Tommy Dreese, who had a rough go of it here yesterday, but he's back on the grid in a backup car today, getting ready to go in round 9 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli here at Watkins Glen. Green flag coming up in just about 9 minutes from right now. Back topside with Jared Audrick. What's the most important piece of technology you use as a driver to get ready to race?
Yeah, the first thing I want to say is my sim, but then I realized it's probably the AIM and the V-Box data that we review fresh out of the car and all the data that we review coming into the week. So probably AIM and V-Box.
Technology is a super important part of racing, from preparing the drivers to go to action to building, maintaining, making sure cars are as safe as they can be, and also making sure those race cars are within the rules when they hit the racetrack.
MK Technologies started providing us scales 2 years ago. They're a key component. We have to make the platform level so we can measure off of it. And their zero deflection scales make it really easy to level, and the cars don't want to roll one way or the other. They're accurate no matter where the car is placed on them. They're Bluetooth instead of Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi, when you get to a track, you have all the radios, especially if you're at an airport like at Sebring. The radio interference messes with the scales. That's not an issue with Bluetooth. MK Technologies is great to work with. They're very responsive. On our way back from Sonoma, we needed the scales recalibrated. Our truck driver stopped in. They took care of it in 2 hours, got him back on the road. Got to have the technology in tech for sure.
to make sure everybody's playing by the rules. All right, let's go back down to the grid with a couple of minutes before it's time to fire the engines and talk to some more drivers. Here's Nate.
That's right. One of the main storylines, Paul Menard, second yesterday in the mixed conditions. Beautiful day today. I know you and the team made some changes overnight. What do you need this race car to be able to do if you're going to chase down that 16 car?
Yeah, we're trying a little something different today, and felt really good this morning just to warm up. We had old tires and we're in pretty good times. Car's really comfortable, so yeah, totally different race today. Obviously with the rain yesterday and drying conditions, and beautiful day for a race.
This is a track you've been to plenty throughout your Cup career, your NASCAR career. Is it a track that you think you have a bit of an advantage? You didn't run part of the racetrack, but do you feel like you have a bit of an advantage here because of all that experience here?
I mean, not really. I mean, I've run half the track a lot, so I've got a lot of laps in the first half, but very little experience in the boot. And Matt showed yesterday that he's run here in the rain multiple times, so he knew where the grip levels were in the wet where I didn't. And but now we're dry, and yeah, like I said, we made some changes, a little bit of a science project, but the car felt good.
You mentioned that science project. Throughout this season, we've seen you guys closing in. You were both, along with Matt, below the track record in qualifying. Where have you seen that progress throughout the year, and where have you seen both of these cars getting so much faster year over year from last year to this year?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how fast these cars have become the last year or two. I mean, we're 2 seconds faster than we were a year ago, and that's just, that's us pushing each other, right? They're totally different type of cars, different chassis, same bodies, but the bodies are a little bit different. So he's got an advantage. I mean, the high speed, aero type stuff, and I've got a little more mechanical advantage and in low speed and mid speed corners. So it kind of balances itself out. But we're always just, it's kind of like whoever's out front. If I can get out front of him, I think I can aero block him. Where he's a little bit faster in qualifying every week, and we're trying to play catch up.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Paul Menard looking to take down Matt Brabham for the second time this year. We have a lot more to get to here on Racing America. When we come back, we'll have more from the booth. Thank you.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Live at Watkins Glen, cars for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Round 9 of the season lined up, getting ready to go. Drivers will be climbing aboard shortly, and we'll have us a green flag in just a little bit for the traditional 100-mile sprint race distance. Good to see Tommy Dreese's car on the grid, that black number 8 machine. That is a backup car because turn number 6 yesterday here at Watkins Glen was more than a little mean to Tommy.
Yeah, he ran into the wall kind of hard there. I texted him last night, asked him what his plans were. He said he learned a lot, but he still has to bring out the backup car.
Remember, yesterday was a damp race, and coming down into that section when you're running downhill from the long carousel corner into the boot section of the racetrack, here's what it looked like from Tommy's point of view. And that's where the camera stopped because there was impact into the barrier, and that's the aftermath. Car very torn up. I was talking to the team this morning. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, I wonder what that was. It didn't look like he had any lockup. Was there something down on track?
We're going to find out because Nate is standing by with Tommy Dreese.
That's right, Tommy Dreese. Backup car is out, ready to go. Big impact yesterday. Tell us about that impact, getting back in the car, and the amount of work that went into getting this other car ready to go for today's. You've made a milestone this weekend as you've crossed 200 starts in Trans Am.
Yeah, it's great to be able to be a part of something and do 200 races in the most awesome, amazing, ground-pounding, fire-breathing dragon cars. Yesterday, we had a good race, and we had a good fight with Dyson. I think him and I would have battled all the way to the end of the race, but I just got a little too aggressive in the rain, and I made a mistake, and I really gave my crew a lot more work between now and Mosport. But this is a testament to this team. We pulled this backup car out. It was pretty decent in practice, so we don't know the setup on it, really. I mean, we were able to guess a little bit, so we'll see what we got. But, thanks to all the fans being here. They all hang out, watch the race in the rain yesterday. Jagger, Elin, Lacey, I'll see you right after this race. And pretty cool. Jagger and Ian, Dyson's kid, have been having the best time here. And, for fathers, that's just a great thing to see. They're making memories. So Trans Am, what a great series. And let's go battle.
All right, let's go battle. Good luck today, Tommy. Let's send it back up to the guys in the booth as Tommy Dreese looks for the ultimate comeback.
Tommy will be lined up in that backup car, 6th on the grid, getting ready to go. Got some laps on it this morning in the warm-up session earlier today. Now, another one back on the grid today is Amy Ruman. When last we saw Amy, it was in practice at Road America when Amy had a suspension part fail that shot her off the racetrack and into the outside barrier, had absolutely no steering control over that car at a pretty high-speed part of the course.
Yeah, I saw that when it originally happened. This is my favorite turn at Road America. I'm starting to double pedal it there. I learned that from one of the fastest drivers.
And Amy fortunately was okay, but again, the suspension part broke, no control at all, and hit at a tough spot just before the tire barrier began to protect that concrete wall. Amy was okay. The crew has rebuilt the car. She's back on the grid, and Nate is with her.
Have the car rebuilt after that wreck we just saw at Road America. So first, how excited are you to be back in the race car? Then also yesterday, you guys decided not to get the car on the grid. Tell us about that decision, and then also the excitement to be out there today.
Yeah, I really have to thank my team, especially Mike and my dad, just nonstop working on the car. We're a little less of people on our crew, so they worked diligently, got us back, and then the rains came yesterday. And quite frankly, we're out of spares. So we wanted to save the car for the day because we knew the sun would be shining, and wanted to make the show and have a good race today. And I think we'll be good. I think the car feels really good, especially after getting everything fixed. So I think this McNichols Valley Automotive Group Chevrolet will be a contender today. So hopefully we'll have a good run, finish the whole race, and just get my rhythm back. Still working on my timing with my leg injury, and so I think we'll have a good day.
All right, we wish you luck in doing just that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Amy Ruman, guys.
All right, Nate, thanks. Wish Tommy and Amy and all the other drivers luck today. And we'll get started with Round 9 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli after a break at Watkins Glen.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Beautiful Watkins Glen International, the super speedway of road courses. This amazing layout in the rolling hills of the Finger Lakes region of New York, where they've been racing in the streets of the village since 1948, and on this particular piece of property since the mid-1950s. And this is the place where the third most number of Trans Am races have been held over the years, running here since 1968. Jared, this course, all 11 turns of it, all the uphills and downhills, the speed that it carries, what's the most difficult part?
Yeah, I think this weekend it was getting rotation at the laces, is what they call turn 6 here.
Right there in
I
the
was
center
trying to
of your
get
screen,
rotation there and trying to figure out if that's first or second. It seemed like we got better rotation in first. And then turn 10, that was another place where people got a little bit closer to me than I wanted. But, that's all about rotation, too, and carrying speed. So those were the two spots that I thought a lot about coming into and all weekend.
All right, we'll focus more on those in just a minute. First, it's time for today's opening ceremony, and let's go down to pit lane.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps as we get ready for racing here today. We begin with today's invocation from Road Race Ministries. Here is Marvin Gray.
Let us pray. Oh Lord, we are so grateful for this beautiful day you've given us and for the opportunity to race here at this heritage place of American road racing right here at Watkins Glen. And now we pray your blessing and protection on each and every one who is a part of our show today, the drivers, the crew, the officials, the workers. And Lord, we thank you for our fans. Bless our fans that come out to support us. And now we ask that you would bless and protect our troops and safety forces, emergency workers, all those who serve us. Lord, we pray for those in need of healing, for Nick, for Katie, for Scott, for any others that need healing, for those who are suffering through the air quality, Lord, and anyone who needs healing, please bring that to them. And now, Lord, we ask that you would bring peace to the Ukraine and peace to the Middle East. In your name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Now, please remain standing for the presentation of today's national anthem. Here is Sydney Irving.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Time for the drivers to buckle in. We're going racing at Watkins Glen, the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, running this historic course for the 52nd time. The command to start engines and the green flag are next on Racing America.
Rev Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts deliver strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Get the drivers buckled in, getting ready to go racing on a beautiful Sunday here in Watkins Glen, New York. The Trans Am Series by Pirelli in the second of its weekend doubleheader. This race course, a little over 3 1/3 miles around, 11 corners plus the inner loop. Jared Odrick, it's fast, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. Turn one is where you're deciding first or second. You want to roll speed in second, or do you want to get back on throttle and really let those tires spin over those curves? And then going up through the S's, you'll find out where your tires are at and if you have the right amount of aero. And then coming into the bus stop is really where men are made. And you got to do that nice because you get into the carousel and it all really connects. And like I said, rotation at 6, rotation at 7 and up the hill. And 8 is kind of tricky because you're downhill. And then 9 is probably the slowest corner on the track. 10, you're sweeping. 11, you don't want to mess up 10 because you really don't want to mess up 11. You start the next lap.
It's fast. You can see by the map a lot of elevation changes in the course of a lap. I don't know if there's a place on this race course where you're braking and the car's on level ground.
Yeah, I mean, I did the track walk a couple days ago, and I was very surprised by how uphill the back straight was. I had a friend, Josh Strife, tell me that he measured out, or he at least looked it up on ChatGPT, where the highest point in the track was, and that's at the bus stop, actually.
Yeah, it's a real roller coaster at top speed. Matthew Brabham, driver of that Jim Soda 16 on pole position, was telling me yesterday that he's touching 180 miles an hour into that bus stop in one of the fire-breathing beasts of a Trans Am car. So the field lined up on the grid and set to go, and one driver and car not able to make the grid for today after an incident yesterday. That was New Hampshire's Jesse Schmidt, who was involved in an incident while leading the SGT class yesterday. His car with too much damage to be repaired here in the paddock, and so Schmidt will not be able to start and make this race in the back end of the doubleheader. So there, just in front of our pole sitter's car, you see the dignitaries being gathered and the 1-minute board being shown on the pit lane. So it's almost time to go racing at Watkins Glen. In fact, let's go trackside now and get ready to go.
Thanks, Alan. As everybody knows, racing is a big-time family affair. And today, to give the command, we have a special group of family, including siblings, brothers and sisters, and kids of competitors in the Trans Am Series, along with officials that will help us get going for this end of a busy doubleheader that we have had this weekend at Watkins Glen. And with that, guys, I'll hand it on over to you for the command to start engines today, and let's get this Trans Am race underway. Take it away, guys.
Drivers, start your engine!
That's one. There you go. And now the roar of these 900 horsepower Trans Am cars fills the air around Watkins Glen. Can anybody stop Matthew Brabham? The only thing that's been able to stop him this season in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli was a clutch failure at the Lime Rock race in the rain that day. Otherwise, he has won every pole. He has won every race except that one this season. He has been unstoppable. But the championship isn't a big spread because Paul Menard has finished right behind him in every race but one.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens here in the dry. It seems to be a totally different type of race with these types of cars with this much horsepower from wet to dry. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Got Chris Dyson tied for second all-time in wins in the Trans Am Series. Qualified third on the grid. Grid order set by drivers' fast laps in yesterday's opening round of the doubleheader. There goes Dyson. And Chris Coffey, the fast qualifier in SGT, leads those cars away from the pit lane. So just the one pace lap before the green flag and the start of today's race. The traditional 100-mile distance on this Watkins Glen 3 1/3 mile course is 30 laps, and there is the 75-minute time limit just in case. Started racing on the streets of the village here in the late 1940s, then needed a place to take it off the public roads. The Watkins Glen Road course was built, and they've been racing on this site since the mid-1950s. And really, it's mostly unchanged from the original layout. Obviously, safety modifications here and there over the years, but the actual track layout itself pretty much close to the original.
Yeah, there's a couple good free documentaries or mini docs on YouTube that I've watched a couple times about this track and its development. And, I honestly wish, I could run the streets of Watkins Glen again and then come into this track, too. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I always wanted to go run the old Daytona Beach Road course and see what that must have been like, too. So multi-class racing in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. The 900 horsepower Trans Am cars joined by, in today's race, the SGT Super Grand Touring cars, high-performance production-based cars with a few aerodynamic modifications and some driver aids, and then the GT entry-level class into Trans Am Pro competition with more driver aids and electronics on them, but lower horsepower. So we've got 3 of those 5 classes set to go in competition here today. Our starting lineup, again, set by fast laps that were run in yesterday's race here at the Glen. Matthew Brabham on pole position with Paul Menard, his rival for the championship, alongside. Chris Dyson starts inside row number 2 with the SGT lead qualifier, Chris Coffey, outside of him. David Pintarek survived 2 spins yesterday. He's in row number 3 along with Tommy Dreese in that backup car. John DeGator and Amy Ruman both did not race yesterday. They're on the grid for today. And Zach Arnold, the SGT winner yesterday, and Michael Saya, the GT winner yesterday, make up the 5th row of our grid for this one.
Yeah, Mike Saya is a good friend of mine. I raced him up at Thompson Speedway up in Connecticut. Is that Connecticut? There's a bunch of states up there that are all kind of interconnected.
Yep.
But I raced him. He got testy with me, and we made contact. And that was one of my first races ever. And I think he was testing me because he asked me for money, and he just wanted to see. He wanted to see if I'd fix his car for him, even though it was his fault.
That's fun. Matthew Brabham, David Pintarek, Tommy Dreese, and John DeGator all carrying onboard cameras for us here at Watkins Glen today. They should give us some great views, and particularly love to watch the mile-an-hour gauge as, for example, Matthew Brabham goes up through the S's or flying down toward that inner loop. It's a high-speed place, this Watkins Glen track is.
Yeah, I can't imagine hitting 180, man, in a place like this. It's got to be pretty exhilarating, but I'm hoping somebody gives him a race today.
Yep, we're going to find out because they're coming around to the green flag now. Field off of turn number 9 of the 11 corners. Lights out on the pace car and beginning to double up. Now, in the TA2 Series race, earlier we saw a good bit of carnage in turn number 1 on lap 1, including the championship leader winding up in the fence. What's going to happen in this one?
I don't know.
We'll find out here in just a minute. But the first corner, always dramatic here at Watkins Glen, that downhill 90-degree bend to send you up the hill to the S's. 30 laps, 100 miles. The distance at Watkins Glen today. It's round 9 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, and the green flag is out and we're racing.
Yeah, there's a lot less cars on track compared to the TA2 race we ran, so there'll be plenty of space here in turn 1, but let's see if Menard can put the heat on him and use all this exit track here.
Trying to get the big run off that first corner and stay alongside, but Brabham was equal to the task. That's Chris Dyson in third. Dyson put a lot of pressure on Menard in the closing stages of yesterday's race, but wasn't able to find a way around him. Will Chris be able to find a way to make it a 1-2 finish for his team today as they hit the inner loop for the first time? Whoa, Chris Coffey, hang on.
Don't come back too hard.
Nice job to gather it up, but it's going to drop him out of the lead in SGT as Zach Arnold goes by him.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to see how much he could hang with those TA cars. Just obviously a differential there with, is he back in his Ferrari?
Yes, he is. Yeah, Chris spent 2.5 weeks basically after a crash at Indianapolis, working 14-hour days after his day job, restoring Ferraris and taking care of customer racing Ferraris, and got that car back together to be able to come racing here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, good for him.
And so here is the lead coming up the hill to turn 9 for the first time. Just looking for Tommy Dreese, who's in that backup car and getting his first racing feel for that today. He got some laps in it in the morning practice earlier, but Tommy has dropped back now to the end of this line of cars as we complete lap number 1. Here he comes. So we got a debris flag at turn 4. Something has either come off one of the cars or some liquid is put down. Is that?
Hopefully it's not Dreese.
No, I don't think so. No, there's Tommy right there in that black number 8 with the SGT race for the lead right behind him with Zach Arnold in the 72 and Chris Coffey in the 97.
He cut that exit kind of tight at turn 1, you know. I'm not sure what these TA cars can do at the exit there, but I'd like to see them use more of that track.
Yeah, there's that debris that the surface condition flag is out for. And it may be from the 24 car of Derek Carter, the GT class driver who was smoking on the start, and there he is on the pit lane. He's had a tough weekend.
That looks like my car from today's race.
Yeah, you haven't had the most fun weekend this weekend that you've had at a racetrack, have you?
Yeah, no, it was a difficult weekend. You know. It's the car. We had to babysit some youngins. You know, there's a few things that happened this weekend.
Yeah. It was eventful for sure. But had a new sponsor here.
Yes. No, we were super happy to have Pop Art Snacks. It's gourmet popcorn, and they sent about 500 bags to the track, and I think every bag was at least taken, if not eaten. And so, you know, we had 3 flavors here, and you know, the cheddar jalapeno, the rosemary truffle, and the Hawaiian sea salt. And yeah, it was slap. Did you have any?
Not yet.
Come on, I brought 3 bags just for this case.
Well, I'm about to get some then, it sounds like.
Let's go.
I appreciate that. So riding with Tommy Dreese here in this backup machine. His crew, talking with them this morning, said what was harder, preparing the backup car or getting the wrecked car onto the hauler to be taken home? They said the second one.
Oh, well.
Said the backup car was ready to go, prepared for a Watkins Glen setup, but getting that wrecked car loaded onto the transporter was a project for them. And they'll have a lot of work to do between now and the race at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park later the weekend for sure.
Yeah, again, I want to see a little bit more track usage at turn 1. I want to see them go over those colorful exit curbings, and you know, out there, that's what we were doing this weekend in the TA2 class, where that's where you're going to decide if you want to make a shift and go in first gear over top of those. You're just so busy in the car at the exit of turn 1, or if you want to ride second gear, get on throttle a little bit earlier and be a little bit less busy in the car.
So Tommy Dreese running in 7th position, right behind John DeGainer. John in that number 4 machine. John chose yesterday not to go out in the wet conditions because he's new to the Trans Am class. He said, I've only got a few outings in this car, and I'm still trying to build up to it. So I think I'll wait for the dry race on Sunday and give it a go. He's only running a partial schedule this year, so.
Yeah, smart move.
Yes,
be interesting to see what he can do here with Dreese.
There's John on board. John, last year's GT1 Challenge champion. GT1 class for, I'll call it older model Trans Am cars, as a stepping stone for drivers to work their way up through the ranks from club racing into professional racing and eventually to a full-blown Trans Am car. John from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, in his Speed Dreamin' Racing Ford Mustang. Got Tommy Dreese, 2009 champion of the series, on his back bumper.
Yeah, at turn 10 there, we were barely using brake in the TA2 car this morning. You know, you just want to flick it in there.
The other thing about that corner right there is that barrier comes up quick.
Certainly does, yeah, but it's actually a lot more camber than you think. If you can actually see this track shot there, it's kind of a bowl. And so you can get on throttle pretty good there and have the rear end come around and have some of that camber save you at the exit.
So when you went out to race this morning, your car had been repaired after an incident yesterday.
Yep.
How many laps to kind of get it settled in and get a feel for what it was going to be?
Well, we went out for the practice this morning, but since we messed up so many of our wheels, all we had left were to be able to, the wheels that we had to put on the stickers. And so we just went out and really just got the glaze off the sticker tire that we had to use for race 2. So we really took it light, and we only did one out lap and came back in, and then there was a big black flag. So we were kind of thankful for that, but I wish we would have been able to get to a full practice mode before race 2.
So up front, Paul Menard is hanging with Matthew Brabham.
Yeah, I love seeing that. I love seeing that. Let's see what they can do here.
There were just 0.2 of a second over an 11-corner, 3 1/3 mile lap at Watkins Glen, separating these two cars in qualifying. 0.2 of a second over 3 1/3 miles.
Wow.
And so now we get into race mode today. The 3GT racing team for Paul Menard told me this morning they're trying something new for this race. They tested it here in the test day on Thursday, didn't use it yesterday in the rain, but we're going to try it here in the race today because they thought that it was an incremental gain to get them closer to Brabham in this 16.
Yeah, no, I know Paul's a very big competitor, and he ends up talking to me about football a lot in the paddock too. And so I just like being in a paddock full of competitors and true competitors. Even his photo is a little head cocked to the side. That's kind of what we did in football and basketball. Was, you know, every time we'd get a team photo, we'd say 1, 2, 3, and then we'd cock to the left or the right. He's got a little stick and ball in him.
Yeah, there you go. Paul, champion of this series the last 2 years, and Matthew Brabham standing in his way both for race wins and a third, possibly, consecutive championship. So that is the race lead, Brabham and Menard. Then they've got a pretty good chunk back to Chris Dyson, who's fallen about 10 seconds back off of these two into a third place. David Pintarik running another 5 seconds behind Dyson in 4th overall, and Amy Ruman running in 5th position after getting that car back out onto the racetrack today after the crash a few weeks ago at Road America. Downhill, uphill. Sometimes I feel like the cameras don't do justice to the elevation changes that are constant in a lap here at this racetrack.
Yeah, sometimes they don't, but I mean, I think the angles here, this shot is great because you see that left to right. You see a little bit of that camber that we have and we don't have in some of these corners.
And that narrow runoff off the final corner. Up the hill coming toward turn number, what is this, toward number 8 is Dreese and DeGainer. And this race going on for 6th and 7th place. SGT, Zach Arnold still leads Chris Coffey. And that is by 1.2 seconds between those two. So this is the closest race on the racetrack for these two drivers in 7th and 8th. Check that, 6th and 7th, sorry.
I want to see Tommy use a little bit more of the track. And, you know, I know he wants to peek inside, but if he has a little bit of patience, I think if he uses all that track, he'll be able to get a better pass done.
That's Amy Ruman heading onto the pit lane. So troubles for former series champion who's coming down the pit lane, not even just barely 5 laps into this race. So Amy Ruhlman with the problems here as the leaders start their 6th lap. Derek Carter has retired his GT car. That oil smoke you saw, indicative of a terminal problem. So Carter is out. Here comes Dreesy to the inside of DeGainer, runs right over that debris that was sitting at the exit of turn 2. And I didn't see it come. There it came back out of his car just there.
Yeah.
On board now.
Let's see if he keeps sticking his nose in there. All this track at exit. Getting closer. I really enjoyed this turn here, going up the hill.
Yep.
You know, you really got to put it on the rear earlier than you think. You know, because the front will wash, and you get close to the exit curve there, and it's really just exit dirt.
Yeah. That piece of debris that Dreesy picked up and spit out is now at the inner loop, and the surface flag, the debris flag, is over there.
Oh, wow.
That's the message from race control.
What do they call that, hot potato?
Yeah. Whatever it was, doesn't seem to have slowed Tommy down at all. Now watch the speed here.
I don't even think he got up to 4th, but he's getting 150 in 3rd gear. That's pretty nuts.
Now these S's just hauling up the hill.
Let's see if he can crack 175.
171 to the braking zone. There's that piece of debris on the left side of the screen as they come through the inner loop. You won't find a person with more passion for Trans Am racing than Tommy Dreesy. Had made his 200th start yesterday in this series, just the 4th driver to do so, and just keeps coming back and chasing that top step on the podium.
Yeah, no, I love seeing that. He's very passionate about what he does, and I know that he's been working with a guy named Paul in the paddock that's got a lot of interesting camera angles. Does a really good job for Mr. Dreesy there, and setting up a lot of his Instagram and social media videos.
Well, Nate, that does not look good for Amy Ruhlman.
No, it doesn't. The team telling me that primarily they're checking some of the ductwork on that car. Remember, they had the huge crash, the complete rebuild after Road America. So an issue up front with maybe something that had been rebuilt there, but at first made it maybe seem like it was going to be a quicker issue, but the team pouring over things, and hopefully not the end of the day for Amy Ruhlman, but a rough start for the team as they're checking some of that rebuilt ductwork on the front of the McNichols Corvette.
That ductwork was that hunk of debris that we saw out on the backstretch get kicked around. So Amy Ruhlman losing laps, sitting on pit road here, but at least good to have her back in the field and on the racetrack today at Watkins Glen. Best race on the speedway. You're watching it. It's John DeGainer in the 4, and Tommy Dreesy in the 8, and this is for 5th and 6th. Looking back, the SGT lead, still Zach Arnold. He's got a 2-second gap on Chris Coffey. Michael Saya is the GT leader. And he is running in 10th overall. Matthew Brabham's opened up a 1.8-second gap on Paul Menard at the head of the field.
Do we know the last race that DeGainer ran with Trans Am?
We do. John has been with us this season at Sebring, Indianapolis, and Road America.
I was just going to say, he doesn't look too rusty. He's staying in front of Tommy Dreesy, who runs every weekend, and they have a decent race going on.
There's a look at Chris Dyson running in 3rd. The driver tied for 2nd in all-time wins, and of course, 3-time Trans Am champion. of 2021, 22, and 23. Chris, only running a partial schedule this year, business commitments with his family's businesses, keeping him from being able to make the commitment, not just to be at the racetrack on the weekends, but to do the things you need to do to be competitive at the racetrack on the weekend. The amount of time you spend in the gym and watching video and doing the data study.
Totally.
It's a lot.
Yeah, no, it can be. I think I've traded in some gym hours myself for some biking hours.
Yeah.
Been using my bike a lot more, trying to keep my heart rate at what it's usually at inside of a car. And so that's been a switch for me. I wonder how much biking he does in cycling. It seems like a lot of racers do it more than football players.
How many hours a week would you say you spend preparing for a race?
I mean, I think everything is preparing. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a 24-hour thing if you're considering your sleep, right?
Yeah.
You know, so the thing is like, you know, with football, I would use every doorway as an offensive lineman where I would do a swim move or a rip or whatever it is. And you're thinking the same thing when you're driving through traffic. You're thinking about trailing off your brake. You're thinking about it all the time. So I feel like it's a 24-hour thing, but I'm on the sim at least, 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
And, if not more. So
interesting. DeGainer and Andresi Racing here as we remind you that you can get all your favorite racing action on the Racing America free streaming channel. Tommy with a look there, but not. Is he going to be able to get alongside? Let's see. Nope, not yet. Crossover? No, not yet. All right, let's do the commercial. Your favorite racing action available to you on the Racing America free streaming channel. Watch 24/7 on Amazon Prime Video, the Roku channel, and My Free Direct TV. We've got live racing, original content from Trans Am, Grassroots Series, and NASCAR team content. It's the Racing America channel, your 24/7 racing fix. Live Trans Am racing today from Watkins Glen, New York on Racing America. Alan Bestwick with Jared Andre, the reigning Pro-Am champion in TA2 competition, stepping into the booth to join me this afternoon, which I appreciate.
No, I'm honored to be here. As soon as you said it, I thought I was dreaming, to be able to be in the booth with you and with how many people look up to you and how many people, have listened to you over the years in this industry. It's very, it's a big honor.
I appreciate it. Very kind of you. I don't have a hint of an idea of what it would be like to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. And I admire that very much. And, you're talking about your prep for the race. You've obviously brought a lot of the habits that you formed that got you to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL to your approach to racing. How many do they directly correlate? Is it the same mindset and methodology?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crossover, right? But, I mean, when you're playing in a sport in 7-second spurts of, near rage, and, it's rage, but it's also very calculated, and you're playing a lot of percentages in terms of formations and whatnot. It's a lot of pattern recognition and predictability when you're looking at an offense and how they set up on any given play. And you do the same thing with race cars in front of you and competitors in front of you and watching how they take certain corners and picking your times and picking your percentages of when you want to make a pass. But, yeah, I'd say this is way more measured and reserved and keeping a heart rate.
And less rage at times?
No, of course. I think the game of football, perpetuates that or allows that a little bit more where, you beat your chest a little bit more and it gets you further than beating your chest in a race car.
Yeah, for sure. As you can see, Matthew Brabham has opened up the gap to Paul Menard just a little bit. Nate's got more on that down on pit road.
Yeah, I checked with each of those teams. Vince Wood, the race engineer for Matthew Brabham, a few laps ago. Same kind of story we see at the start of the race. They were just waiting for tire pressures to get kind of into that window where the team wants them. Matthew, overall happy with the race car. They did say, though, that they felt that the 3-car Menard made some big gains on him. And Paul Menard, even if he's losing a little bit, seems happy. Checked with the 3GTT. They said that Paul's been completely quiet so far on the radio. So that's about the front. One other quick note, Amy Ruman back on the racetrack. They finished the look over on the 23 car that they were doing.
All right, turn it into a bit of a test session, if you will, today. Ooh, that's a pit stop, an unscheduled one.
Whoa.
Is that our second-place driver, Paul Menard, heading on to pit lane. So second place in the championship with... troubles here. And rolling down the pit lane at that 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, Michael Saya also has come down the pit lane. He has given up the GT race lead to come in.
Hopefully they can make it quick.
Nate is rushing down to the Paul Menard pit to see what's up, and they're coming out with tires. Remember at Road America, he had a flat left front tire.
Looks like it's the same front left.
And we'll see if this is a similar issue. Meantime, on the racetrack, we check in with the John DeGaynor-Tommy Dreese fight, which now becomes for, what, this will be for 4th and 5th. So 11 laps in, Paul Menard on pit road. We'll follow up with Nate here in a minute. We looked away to see what was going on there on the racetrack, but I think it was just the one tire that they changed. Let's head there now. Nate, what do you got?
Yeah, so the Menard team, it was that left front tire failure, looking pretty similar to what they had back at Road America, so that's the issue there. Paul also stalled the car leaving pit road, so it took a little bit extra time there, but once again, left front tire failure for Paul Menard, this time at Watkins Glen.
All right, so back-to-back, well, not back-to-back because it didn't happen yesterday, but 2 and 3, an issue on the left front there for Paul Menard, and that is going to drop him a good ways back of Matthew Brabham on the racetrack. Check next time they all come through start-finish and see what the deficit actually will be, but that's tough luck. And as a driver, that's got to make you, as you go on through the race, think twice, because you're only a third of the way through the race and you've had that problem.
Yeah, you know, I was able to get back out on track on that first race, and we really did not have a true race car after that wreck, but we definitely wanted to put laps in, and you're out there making sure, you know, anything can happen, right? You know, you get a double yellow, you get something, you know, freaky happening at the front of the field, and you pick up points. So glad he's back out there.
All right, so Menard making his way around to turn number 10 now, and we'll check the scoring gap here as he gets back around to the start-finish line. It's a big long lap here at Watkins Glen. Minute 45 seconds or so is what the leader Matthew Brabham is running. So Menard across the stripe, and he finds himself in 4th place and a minute 8 behind Matthew Brabham. Full course yellow. Can close it back up. Meantime, how much ground can he make under green as Tommy Dreese has finally gotten past John DeGaynor?
There we go.
So Menard back to 4th, and Dreese now up to 5th, with DeGaynor falling back to 6th. Zach Arnold leading Chris Coffey by 4.8 seconds in SGT for that class lead. And as I mentioned, Michael Saya's car was on the pit lane. Our GT class leader.
Yeah, I saw him out of the car. It didn't look good.
Yep. And so actually I see the car now heading back toward the paddock. So tough end of the day there for the North Reading Mass driver. So Tommy Dreese by John DeGaynor. How did it happen? We have it. We'll show it to you. As Dreese has now pulled away and tries to hunt for a podium. Here it is.
Nice, using some of that side draft, pushing him aside.
It's off of the S's and into the inner loop, side by side. Wow. That's fun.
Great job.
So Tommy Dreese again up to 5th place. John DeGaynor back to 6th. And all of them chasing Matthew Brabham, who has built a 27-second lead over Chris Dyson in this middle stretch of the race.
So are they both rocking Jim Weed or Jim Soda this weekend?
The soda.
Yeah, I actually had a taste of it. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really like it. I think it would go really well with some Pop Art gourmet snacks. They didn't bring any up for you, did they?
No.
I got my popcorn here.
There you go.
Can somebody bring us some so we can have both? What are we doing?
You figured out this sponsor angle pretty quickly, hadn't you?
Look, I'm trying. I got into the sport and I realized pretty quickly what keeps this thing going, and I'd love to continue to find, good weekends with Pop Art. And I think we had a really good weekend here. We were able to get on pole in Pro-Am, and obviously we had some unfortunate luck here, but yeah, partnerships are the way to go here in racing, and especially in Trans Am.
So here's a guy looking for a podium finish today, and I hope he finds a way to get it, just because he's had such hard luck over this entire season. David Pinterick running third overall right now in that Bird's Eye View Project Ford Mustang for Kreider Racing. David, from the Youngstown area, has been running. I was teasing him the other day back in the garage. Now, both of us have a little bit of silver in our hair, but I was teasing David the other day that I was looking through the Watkins Glen record book, and I found him on pole position in the Trans Am race here, June 9th, 2013.
Oh, wow.
And he said, yeah, I've been doing this a long time, haven't I? He said that was his first year. And one of his first races in Trans Am, he said, I thought I was hot stuff. Well, David's had what I would fairly say was a humbling stretch during this season. He was racing for third place in the Sebring opener. The alternator failed. At Atlanta, he qualified fifth. He was running in the top five and had a mechanical failure. I believe it was an oil cooler. A piece of debris went through the oil cooler. Sonoma, he got spun around racing with another competitor in one of the two races. Wound up facing backwards on the racetrack. Then, let's see, Indianapolis had that big crash down the front straightaway. Reboot the car and came back for a P5. Road America racing up in the top five on the last lap and got squeezed with a too-wide situation going downhill into turn number 3. Wound up off in the grass and both the drivers into the barrier. He spun twice in the rain yesterday. Didn't hit anything. That was after an engine change and a weekend where his crew had to literally build some parts to put that car back together because they're not available right now.
I think that's what's beautiful about this series, right, is the amount of labor that can go into it instead of just calling up an OEM. You got guys in a garage that are doing the work that are getting you back out on track.
So a big tip of the cap to David and his team. He's running in a podium spot right now, though he's got Paul Menard trying to chase him down, and he's closing within 10 seconds of him. 72. That's the SGT leader. That's Zach Arnold, 53 years old, from Tiffin, Ohio. The Arnold Machine Porsche GT3 Cup from Kreider Racing. Zach made his SGT debut at Road Atlanta back in March. Finished second in the class that day. Came back out at Indianapolis and won the SGT class. His first year of Trans Am racing since 2002. He's been doing some IMSA stuff and Grand Am, going back to that part. But I was talking to Zach in the garage this weekend, and he said he's loving being in this paddock and having a good time. And he picked up his second SGT class win yesterday when he came out on the right end of the wet tires to dry tires strategy call, and his rival for the win, Chris Coffey, came out on the wrong end of that strategy call. Zach leading Chris right now by 7 seconds for the SGT class lead.
Yeah, sorry if I missed it, but is that a 991.1 or a .2? Do we know?
That is didn't list that on the spec, so I'd hate to make that prediction for sure. But I'm pretty sure all of these cars are the 991.1s.
Okay, yeah, that's what I got my start in. That was the first car that I ever drove on track at Summit Point Raceway in West Virginia, which is where I got my racing license. And so when I showed up to track at racing school with one of those things, everybody thought I was nuts. And I very well may be, but I have a lot of experience in that car. Those are great cars.
And particularly in the wet.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I was talking, I saw Zach briefly this morning, and we were talking about racing that car in the wet. And he said, yeah, I said, I've done some driving in the wet before. But yes, this car in wet conditions is a really good one.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I think it was either the 901 or .2 that was the only car that I had driven in the wet here at Watkins. And I knew we had a chance to drive in the wet with the TA2 race in the first one, but we were lucky to dodge it. But I would have had no TA2 experience in the wet here at Watkins.
There is Paul Menard coming up behind Zach Arnold trying to close in on David Pinteric for that podium spot in Trans Am. Again, Menard with the unscheduled pit stop, and there he is, closing in on Pinteric for position number 3 in the race. Down the back stretch they go toward the inner loop as Menard continues to try and charge forward and get that spot. This car's got pace, Menard's car does, right? I mean, his last lap was
there we go.
a minute 45.6, and Matt Brabham's last lap was a minute 47.5.
Got a little dicey there with that Porsche.
Change for third.
Let's see if Pantera can keep up.
All right, so Paul Menard back up into the podium spots here, and we'll check the gap next time they cross the start-finish line as to how far back he is from Chris Dyson to try and catch Dyson for the second step on the podium. After this event, there's a lot more to watch on Racing America. Next weekend, we got one of the great short track races in America, the 60th annual Red Bud 400 from Anderson Speedway, that amazing high bank quarter-mile track in Indiana. Watch the best in short track racing, battle it out by logging on to racingamerica.com. Check it out and see the full schedule at racingamerica.com. Past the halfway point of today's Trans Am Series by Pirelli race at Watkins Glen International. There is Chris Coffey, 97 car, Dallas, Texas. Traffic Graphics, NII Racing, Ferrari 458 Challenger, a two-time TA GT champion, moving up to the SGT class this year. Chris has had, I mentioned earlier, the story of rebuilding that car to put it back together after the crash at Indianapolis. Then came here for the test day the other day. He's slow and he missed the bus stop.
Let's see if David can slow up here.
Yeah, this could get dicey off the corner. Chris
lets him by.
Giving room there. Had some tire issues in the test day the other day and had to completely rework the setup on his car.
Looks like he just pulled off onto the NASCAR, the non-boot.
Yes, he did. So probably bringing that car back around to the pit lane for Chris Coffey. So whatever's gone wrong there, I couldn't see if he had a tire going down or.
I'm not sure what that was, but I would imagine you have to serve a penalty if you cut through the track and.
Yeah, the lap won't count.
Yeah.
So let's go on board with our race leader and ride with Matty Brabs a little bit.
He goes really wide there and loops it in, and he doesn't hug. Some people hug the inside of the carousel, and then some people diamond it off. Looked like he diamonded it.
Down to turn 6 here and into the boot. This they call the laces. You're talking to Matty yesterday, as here's Chris Coffey coming to the pit lane. Put the jacks up that are built in on that Ferrari, and looks like go after a left front tire. Oh yeah, see the inside sidewall of that one.
It's 2 front lefts so far this race. Not for Coffey, but for Coffey and Menard.
All right, so tough luck there for Chris, but he'll get back in the chase and see what he can do. So I have lost sight of Zach Arnold, but it looks like Chris Coffey has gotten by him, or had gotten by him for the SGT lead before he had that problem.
Oh, wow.
Just a minute ago.
And I had a buddy just update me who works with a lot of Porsches in Porsche Club over at Autometrics, Eddie Ferrer. He told me that is indeed a 991.2 that Arnold was driving. I guess you can tell by the look of it.
Then he's sharper on those details than I am. I know that Milton Grant's driving the 992 15 car that we saw a minute ago. There's Derek Carter, who's had problems earlier in the race, but gotten back onto the race course, though is off the pace here at the moment in that 24 car. So that's tough luck. All right, here comes Zach Arnold. And just checking the scoring gap with he and Chris Coffey for this SGT lead as Arnold crosses the start-finish line and will be 7th overall and the SGT leader.
These shots from the drone are pretty
like
special. Yeah, it's funny when you're out there, you know, especially during a yellow flag, you can see, and I've seen it get close enough to my car where I can actually hear it.
Yeah,
right, which is pretty crazy when you're inside a TA2 car.
Right. It's a lot of fun. Andy Lally was in here earlier during the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race, jumped into the broadcast with me for that one. And he said, you know, his goal is to have those drones so close to the cars they could almost hit them.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's a unique look, right?
Oh, it really is.
And certainly a lot of fun and opens up a lot to your eyes. Just different perspectives. You know, it's like watching a football game. You know, that camera that's on the 50-yard line all the time. But when they go to that spider cam overhead, it's a whole different look at a play.
Totally. Yeah, it makes it feel like a video game almost. The access is amazing.
It's a lot of fun. So Matthew Brabham has a 24-second lead over Chris Dyson. Dyson waiting on Paul Menard to cross the stripe so that timing and scoring gets updated, and I can get the exact gap from Dyson back to Menard. But no, Chris Coffey's back on pit lane. All right, update. Let's see. Paul Menard is 27 seconds behind Chris Dyson for second spot. So let's check back downstairs as Chris Coffey's back in, Nate.
Yeah, Alan, the team making some air pressure adjustments and looking around that car as they've come back in. A note on that left front they lost. That's their third tire failure for this team of the week. They had some issues with that back in testing earlier this week on Thursday. Felt they had a lot of that issue solved, but today with the higher heat, both on the racetrack and, of course, ambient, that's part of the issue. But the team continuing to give a once-over to the 97 here. We'll check in for any further updates, but a second time through after a left front failure for Chris Coffey, which is his third total of the weekend.
Obviously, Chris is feeling something he doesn't like in that race car if they're checking all the suspension like that. So, you know, like I said earlier, this Watkins Glen track is so fast. You don't want to be out there if you've got something that doesn't feel right and is a question in your mind.
No, you certainly don't. Not with how close the walls are here, especially up the S's. What do you call those? The blue what?
It's
the blue dream, the blue nightmare.
Well, it's the old saying. The old saying is black is good, green is bad, blue is really bad.
Yeah.
And just, you know, look at the color of the pavement, the grass, and the guardrails, and you understand that. That's an old NASCAR saying going back to when they first started racing here in the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
And there's some wisdom in it. There is some wisdom in it, for sure. So Matthew Brabham cruising around. Matty was up here with us on the broadcast yesterday, and a perspective that he offered that you probably can relate to a lot. He said, you know, when you're in the middle of it, you don't enjoy it. You don't stop and think, yeah, you know, this that moment I won the race, but you're already thinking about the next one and how to get better or everything that could have gone wrong and how to keep it, you know. He said you're always just so far in it that maybe you don't enjoy it as much as people think you would.
Yeah, you know, there's a funny thing about the word happy. I'm not in search of it, you know, and I'd have to agree with Brabham. You know, happiness is a byproduct for me, and I think it's a byproduct for a lot of race car drivers. I think what we're after is purpose, it's meaning, and it's first place.
Yeah.
And I think you know, that's what I'm after. So when people ask if I'm happy, it's like that's not a metric I use. So you know, get that H word out of here.
I'm doing my thing.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
And in hindsight and happiness go together for me.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Watch his speed. Just shy of 160. Downhill braking. And now, if we stay on this, just watch these numbers up through the S's. in this Trans Am car. Threading the needle between those guardrails up over the tunnel at 150 miles an hour, and now down toward the braking point for the bus stop, 175.
Yeah, that was an interesting release of his gas there, of the throttle. It was kind of a little bit more gradual than I was expecting.
Traffic ahead, always something to be measured in multi-class racing when you're the leader and the fastest car on the racetrack.
Let's see if the gainer can pick anything up if Brabham passes him here and picks up any time.
Okay, the way that Matty's been driving this race car this year, and the way that car has been performing, it'd be hard to stay with him close enough.
Yeah, and it was impressive to see what he did in TA2 when he jumped over as well. You know, I know those SLR pieces are pretty fast, but it's still impressive for him to be able to put it on pole over at Road America.
And then come through with a runner-up result and have a shot at the win at the end. First time ever in a TA2 car. That was a couple of weeks ago. You look at numbers, and while numbers don't always tell the whole story, if you're trying to define domination, Matt Brabham has run 24 races in a Trans Am car. He's won 15 of them. 62% win rate in auto racing is spectacular.
That's high percent.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable. This year he's 8 for 8 on poles, well 9 for 9 actually, and 7 of 8 in race wins. And cruising through this 100 miles here at Watkins Glen to try and remain 8 for 9 on the season.
You know, when you bring up perspective to the booth, but did he bring up popcorn? You know, that's what I start to think about, perspective and popcorn. I'm looking at some rosemary truffle right here. If you had to pick between rosemary truffle, cheddar jalapeno, and Hawaiian sea salt, which one do you think you'd pick?
I do the sea salt.
Yeah?
Definitely.
I don't want to get any kernels in your teeth here for the broadcast, but if you're feeling hungry, you got to be hungry after being up here for so long.
Well, Jared, I'll tell you this. Mama told me not to eat with my mouth, not to talk with my mouth full. But when we're done talking, you can count on it.
Oh, there we go. That's what I like to hear.
There you go. Very nice. and nice to take care of the sponsor, too.
No.
They make it all go around. Let's look down on this Matthew Brabham car from our Perfect Vision drone. Perfect Vision, the official high-speed internet provider of Racing America. Helping give you these beautiful views of this Watkins Glen course on a spectacular Sunday. We've had everything this weekend for weather. We started out with the terrible smoke and deep cloud cover from those awful fires way up north in Canada that have sent so much smoke and haze down across a lot of the northeastern United States and the midwestern, the northern United States, I'll just say. Then we had the big storms and rain that washed everything clean. And then we had another storm last night that dropped the temperature about, 15 degrees?
Yeah.
And today it's well, let's see, it's 71 degrees here right now at Watkins Glen. It's perfect.
Yeah, we went out on the Seneca Lake Legacy cruise last night, the dinner cruise, and all the waterfalls you get to see were very full of life and liquid.
Yeah, Montour Falls and the Watkins Glen Falls over here. It's really a beautiful part of the country for sure. And you were not alone out there enjoying that yesterday, because when I went into downtown Watkins Glen, there were a lot of people out there having a good time on a Saturday night. So we're down to 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 to go when Matthew Brabham comes back around. Let's give a shout to Tommy Dreesy. That was a big wreck yesterday that he had in his primary car. And for the crew to put in the work that they did to have the backup car prepared as it was to roll off the truck and be ready to go. And then for Tommy to get right back on the horse and get after it today. He's running in 5th right now, but I give a tip of the cap to the guy who, comes out here and gives his all at 67 years old.
Yeah, totally. You got to wonder what goes through his head after a wreck like that at that turn, and I wonder if he's using the brake pedal any different, or
right?
You know, he told me last night in a text message that he learned something new, and I didn't ask what that detail was, but it looks like it's working out for him.
So a clean day today is what Tommy wanted the most, and he's having it right now as we're down to what will be 5 laps to go when Matthew Brabham comes across the start-finish line. Actually, he's just done that. So we're at 5 laps to go in our round 9 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. There is a look at John DeGainer with the drone chasing him. That's fun. You ever raced up at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park? You raced there last year, right?
Yep, I did. I sure did. CTMP was a pretty emotional one for me. It was the first race after us not having Barry Bowes in the TA2 series, and I really wanted to win it for him. But Roberto Sabato is lightning fast there. That's his home track, and he's lightning fast here all weekend too. So we actually talked after the first race here, and he's more than ready to get back up to CTMP.
Yeah, so we'll do that next up for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli and the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. That's coming up on Labor Day weekend. That's a combined race. So on Saturday, we'll have Trans Am and TA2 cars together, multi-class racing at a road course that's just like this, wicked fast and incredibly challenging.
Yeah, it's another flow track for me, and but it does have, 2 big brake zones or at least one really big brake zone where you stop, and I think that's turn 5. What do they call that?
Yep.
Mosport corner?
All the way up the top of the course, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a spot that's different than all the other turns on the course, and so if somebody's better in that low speed stuff, that's an opportunity to catch back up to the field or their relative field.
I haven't been to Mosport since 2000.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really looking forward to getting up there and seeing everything they've done with the place. Had a conversation with Ron Fellows earlier this season, who was one of the ownership group members until fairly recently of that track. And, of course, Ron, Trans Am legend. Yep. He'll be there that weekend for sure.
Awesome.
And look forward to seeing everything that they've done with that place and being part of a fun weekend up there. Always a great crowd. Canadian fans are terrific.
The Canadian fans are really awesome, and there's a bunch of sights and smells that you can even smell from the track sometimes when you're going around there that they're having fun.
Yeah, there you go. Very nice. So that's next up for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli and the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series coming up on Labor Day weekend. 15 car, that's Milton Grant from the Memphis area out there in his Porsche. I'm told that's a 992.
Yeah, this whole Porsche thing can get pretty confusing. It's there's 991.1, then there's a 991.2, and then there's 992s. And so I had actually, we got a slow car on track.
That's Derek Carter, who's been out there trying to limp this GT class car home and just giving way to the traffic, it looks like, and trying to stay out of the way. Milton Grant, our 2022 TAS GT champion, right now is running 3rd in that class. And I believe this is his 4th and 5th races of the season. He finished 3rd in SGT last year here at Watkins Glen, and he's up for another podium here today if he can just run it through. Milton, 77 years old.
Yeah, what an inspiration. That's cool.
Absolutely.
And a beautiful car.
Yes. We'll look at that Porsche, the Sentry Self-Storage Spring Hill Suites, Porsche 992. So checking in on our race leader, Matt Brabham, is running 11. It's better than that now. Going to say the gap it shows is 11 seconds ahead of Chris Dyson, but that'll update when Brabham crosses start-finish line. Here he comes down the back straightaway toward the inner loop. He'll be coming to 2 laps to go. I think the fun one to watch might be whether Paul Menard can chase down Chris Dyson or not for second, though he's a good bit back. He's about 20 seconds behind him with just a couple laps to go, so that's not likely to happen. But so far, so smooth for Mr. Matt.
Yeah, smooth is exactly what he is. Especially rolling out of throttle the way he's doing. If that throttle trace is right, that's interesting what he does at almost every corner. but I'm not sure if he's preserving something and just being less harsh on the throttle because he's out by so far. But yeah, it's definitely not what I was expecting to see on this throttle trace.
There's Chris Dyson running in second. And Dyson with that 20-second gap on Paul Menard, who runs third. David Pinterick is fourth, and Tommy Dreese is in fifth position. Talking about Derek Carter out there a minute ago trying to limp that GT car home. Well, because if he can limp it home, he can take the GT class win, because his biggest rival for that today has fallen by the wayside earlier in the race, or fallen behind earlier in the race, Michael Saya. So
yeah, I caught Michael Saya leaving a barbecue spot downtown last night, so hopefully it's not that he had too much brisket.
Is that a problem? I got it. So watching for our race leader Brabham to come through and take the white flag and enter the final lap of the race. Zach Arnold still leading Chris Coffey in SGT. There's Paul Menard running third overall, but a good gap back to Christopher Dyson as we enter the final couple of circuits around this Watkins Glen track. There's Derek Carter just trying to limp that GT car home and see if he can take home a trophy from Watkins Glen. For our race leader. There he is. Coming up the boot to turn number 8. And then the downhill, then uphill run to turn number 9. So coming to the white flag. And the final lap of our doubleheader weekend here at Watkins Glen. Now turn number 10 for Matthew Brabham. And across the stripe he goes. That's it. Final lap of the race for Brabham. And we'll ride along with him as he comes back around. Up through the S's. Off onto the back straightaway for a final time. Anything he gets in, he's fast.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. Matt seems to be a special driver. I just started learning about him, since joining the series, but people say things like racing royalty, and I'm starting to figure out what that looks like.
So with the win today, if this final half a lap goes his way, Matt will move into a tie with Amy Ruman and Tony Ave for 13th all-time on Trans Am wins. 60 years of racing, and he's climbing up already into a tie for 13th on the all-time wins list. Special season for sure for Matt, for this CD Racing team. These guys work so hard. Cars always crisp, immaculately prepared. And everybody, jumps on it, knows exactly what their role is and what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. And that team really does a good job with both their cars and managing everything they got going on there. Another slow car on track.
That's Chris Coffey trying to limp it home as well. The problems that we've seen him have today, trying to get to the front in SGT. Final corner for Matthew Brabham. He's going to sweep the weekend here at Watkins Glen. He'll win for the 8th time in 9 tries this season. Checkered flag is up, and Matthew Brabham is a Watkins Glen winner again. And a salute to the racing team down by the wall after a dominant performance here this weekend. It could be a 1-2 sweep for the team as the team owner, Chris Dyson, comes to the stripe. And it'll be 1-2 for that team. Dyson finishing second. Paul Menard will finish third after the unscheduled stop for the left front tire. And the championship gap between first and second now will be 50 points with 3 races to go in the season. David Paterick will finish 4th. Tommy Dreese 5th. SGT will go to Zach Arnold, who will sweep the weekend here at Watkins Glen as he crosses the stripe and takes the win. And the GT victory will, in fact, go to Derek Carter, who's able to trundle along the finish despite the mechanical difficulties that he and his team fought throughout the weekend. So there it is, 1-2 for CD Racing. Matt Brabham and Chris Dyson, top 2 today here at Watkins Glen. A break and a winner's interview when we come back to the Finger Lakes region of New York.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Pick up all your favorite Trans Am Series merchandise from our new online marketplace at Styled Aesthetics. Series t-shirts, hats, and more can be found on the Racing America store page. Plus, pick up the Trans Am 60th Anniversary Apparel line. Check it out, styledaesthetic.com. Well, here at Watkins Glen today, the 52nd race for the Trans Am Series at this storied track is in the books. And let's go down to Jim Weed, Victory Circle.
Matthew Brabham and the Jim Soda Mustang back in victory lane. A sweep of the weekend for your dominant points leader. A little bit less chaotic today, so he was able to do it in the dry and lead this one start to finish in that way. We'll let him get the equipment off and talk to Matt as he has completed yet another sweep. Just the one race at Lime Rock where they had a clutch issue that is the only blemish on an otherwise perfect season. Pole every race and win every race every other time, Matt. All right, well, he gets a congratulations from his team owner, Chris Dyson. Let's go right there. A 1-2 finish for the team. How great of a weekend, how great of a result today for you and the team?
Oh, couldn't get any better. Awesome result for the team there. It's great to have Chris back racing with us and have a 1-2 there for the Chris Dyson Racing boys and girls. I mean, it's been an awesome year, but we owe it to the crew and all the hard work. I mean, looks easy on track for us, but there's a lot of hard work, and it's a big hats off to all the guys on the team. And yeah, what a dream run! I mean, big thank you to Jim Soda, Chris Dyson. This race team is having a good run, and as I said, it all comes down to hard work. So big congrats, and we're gonna enjoy this one with the team. And yeah, what a result! Awesome.
All right, congrats again. We'll see you in Canada.
Cheers, mate.
Matt Brabham keeps it going. Let's sweep over and find Zach Arnold, who is our SGT winner, as Arnold slipped away from his race car. Zach, we can speak with you here. Sweep of the weekend. A little bit different conditions today than yesterday in the rain and the mixed conditions, but maybe a little bit more straightforward today. How are you able to manage things?
Yeah, definitely more straightforward today. We had a good day yesterday. The team made a great call in pit lane. to get us out on dry tires before everybody else. And today, today I just drove the wheels off of it and kept it clean. It was definitely a good weekend for us. Thanks to the team and everybody else.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Zach Arnold, Matt Brabham drive the wheels off it. They both go to victory lane here today at Watkins Glen.
Third win of the season for Zach Arnold in SGT competition. And so as we wind it down here in New York, let's look at the final results from today. Matthew Brabham on a roll and continues his winning streak in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Chris Dyson with a CD Racing 1-2. Paul Menard comes back from the flat tire to finish on the podium. Again, SGT, Zach Arnold over Chris Coffey and Milton Grant. Derek Carter picks up the GT class win, his third GT class win of the season. So as we wind it down, final thought, Jared Audrick on racing at Watkins Glen and looking ahead to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous country up here. Been coming up here and racing for the past 5 years, and Watkins has always held a special place in my heart. It's just gorgeous to be up here in the scenery and to have my family up here. It's the closest track to our hometown. And we had about 20-30 people up here this weekend, and we love entertaining them and our sponsors. So really looking forward to CTMP. It's a ballsy track, and really got to hang it out there. But I know the whole field's looking forward to it.
Thanks for doing this.
No, of course. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Jared Audrick, champion in the TA2 Pro-Am Championship a season ago, and joining us today here at Watkins Glen. Well, next month, we're back on the road in Ontario, Canada at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It's a Trans Am and TA2 combination race on Saturday, September 5th. Catch it all here on Racing America. Check out racingamerica.com or go transam.com for more details. Well, pretty straightforward one on the Trans Am side of things today here at Watkins Glen. After Paul Menard had his issue midway through the race, Matthew Brabham charged on and was never headed and picks up yet another victory, his 16th career win and his 8th in 9 tries in this 2026 season. So for Nate Dreyer, for Jared Audrick, and for our entire Racing America production crew, this is Alan Bestrom. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the Trans Am racing this weekend, and we'll see you on Labor Day weekend from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for round number 10 of this 2026 season.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Racing America. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.